retro gamers, and welcome to another review for Retro Game On. Not too long ago I finally got my hands on Vib-Ribbon, which was released in 1999 by Nana Onsha on the PlayStation 1. I played a one-level demo of this growing up to tears, sometimes literally. Sadly, it's super hard to find an English copy as it had a limited power release and wasn't even available to the Americans at all. Fortunately for me though, I now own a Japanese PlayStation 1, and since Vib-Ribbon is quite common over there, I had no trouble sourcing in a cheap copy. Much like Japan itself, this game is incredibly weird, but absolutely brilliant at the same time. There is nothing else out there like this. I can't wait to show it to you, so let me just turn off this camera and then we can get on with it. I'm sick of looking at my face too. So yes, I am playing the Japanese version here. You can tell because you have to push O instead of X to select a menu item. Like most of the time though, the game as a whole isn't much different, except for some menus. Did have a bit of an experience working out what was what by comparing it to PAL playthrough videos, but the gameplay is exactly the same. You play as an overly happy little critter named Vib-Ribbon. Vib-Ribbon has places to be, but there are many obstacles in a vector-laden path. For each shape along the path, there is a corresponding button that must be pushed on the controller. Push the wrong button enough times, and Vib-Ribbon will slowly transform into sadder and sadder looking creatures. Do it enough, and the level will fail. Alternatively though, if you do super well, she'll transform into a very limber looking creature that will score you more points. Screw up just once however, and Vib-Ribbon will revert back to a normal form. I can imagine you've probably got a face like this right now, but I assure you it gets deeper than that. For one, the game is very particular about when the relevant button should be pushed. It's literally just as you're about to touch the shape, so you have to be on your A game constantly. As the levels get harder though, the path gets more confusing. Shapes will start merging, meaning both buttons for those shapes will have to be pushed at the same time. This is actually really hard, especially when the song heats up. The white vector line that Vib-Ribbon is following also starts vibrating, creating quite the visual distraction, making it hard to tell when you're supposed to push the right button. Over that, the camera will start panning and rotating all over the place, adding further confusion. The pace of movement can also fluctuate with the music, meaning the levels can get really intense, making sure they're always quite exciting but also quite difficult. There are 3 difficulty modes with 2 levels each, meaning there's only 6 J-pop infused music tracks to make your way through, but the real fun and replayability lies in the CD feature. This game can load onto the PlayStation's RAM, meaning the game disc can be replaced with a CD of your choosing. Levels are generated from the songs themselves, meaning there's an infinite amount of levels you could possibly play, as long as you haven't burnt your entire CD collection to appease the Spotify gods. Personally, I tried with Corns Take a Look in the Mirror, and didn't really make it past the 3rd track. So you may have read on my blog a couple of days ago where I did write about Vib-Ribbon a little bit, and I was trying to explain just how weird the case is compared to normal PlayStation games, and I did say I'd give a demonstration in the video of just how it's weird, because it's kind of hard to put into words. But basically everything is upside down and back to front. So basically the front cover is actually the back case to where the disc resides. I kind of thought everything was just put in the case wrongly when I first got it, but it turns out that's actually the way it's supposed to be. So you can't open it from that side. You actually have to turn it around to the back, where it just has some general information about the game, and it's from there you can actually open it up like normal. And there's lots of cool little like Japanese pamphlets in there. First I'll just show you the disc. It's pretty cool artwork on there, conforming to the vector themes that's throughout the entire game. So basically the first instruction in there is just this big long thing. It's all in Japanese. It tells you how to play the game, but there's a lot of cool stuff on the back which would probably be even cooler if I could read it, but yeah, I'm sure someone out there watching can read Japanese and is getting some sort of enjoyment from it. Over here is probably the most important thing that's in the case. When you first start playing, you want to have this by your side because it tells you which buttons correspond to which shape. But then over here it has like a little chart thing, chart, where it tells you all the different combos that come up. And it doesn't really seem like much, but trust me, it gets super confusing as you're playing, especially when they're whizzing past at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And lastly, there is just like a little promotional pamphlet here. Oops. And yeah, it's basically like those little toys you can get in those little sort of vending type machines. You pay $1 or $2, but back then you could get little Crash Bandicoots, whatever the hell those things are. And sort of the same on the other side, it's just sort of advertising some games. So it actually is advertising Crash Team Racing there. as well as something about Vib-Ribbon itself, and then something called Jumbo, I think it's Jumbo. I think that's an M in the middle there that's blocked off. But yeah, that's a cool and interesting case. That's as cool as interesting as the game itself. Vib-Ribbon has a distinct visual style that still holds up today. The vector look is so basic, yet so cool. I don't even know how to express why I like it. It's just simply cool, and I really dig cool. Even the points represented by Japanese weirdness are really cool. They don't mean anything as you play, but somehow add up to a score at the end. Vib-Ribbon itself is just so cute. There, I said cute on the internet. I would feel ashamed, but how could I not feel that way? She even has a little song for you when you do well. There's not much to hate about Vib-Ribbon except for the fact that you can't pause while in game. It only gives you the option to either restart or quit, which is a downer since it goes continuously throughout each difficulty stage. Make sure you go Pee-wee beforehand. Besides from the fact that this game reminds me that I still don't own a Vectrex though, I'd say that it's nearly perfect. And I'll be damned if I say that very often. Maybe the only other flaw is that the limited amount of included tracks can make this game quite short, but a healthy CD collection will fix that. There were 2 other sequels released after Vib-Ribbon on the PS2, but only in Japan. From what I can tell though, they're fairly original in their own right. Vib-Ribbon has a heavy emphasis on calligraphy, while Vib-Ripple is somehow about photographs. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know too much about them, but they don't seem that much like Vib-Ribbon. A port of Vib-Ribbon, however, is available on the American version of the PSN. Hey retro gamers, and thanks for watching. Today's question of the day is, what's your favourite Japanese game? Bonus points for anything on the Super Famicom, the Dreamcast, or the PlayStation 1 because I can play those. So far my favourite is, well, this actually. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.